The glute bridge is an amazing exercise, but the truth is, you're probably doing it wrong. In fact, I'm doing it wrong right now. And I'm gonna teach you how to do the glute bridge the right way and take you through a glute bridge workout to strengthen your glutes, your lower back, and your core safely. So follow along, okay? The glutes are the strongest muscle in the entire body. But did you know something? A lot of people suffer from something called glute amnesia. And what that means is when you try to contract your glute muscles, they don't fire. Instead, the hamstrings and the lower back muscles take over. And this can end up causing lower back pain, can change the way you walk, can hurt your hips, and can cause a lot of damage on your body. In fact, I remember one of my clients many years ago had such bad glute amnesia that we could not get her to glutes fire, even when we had her in the first position that I'm gonna show you about today. But eventually, we were able to reconnect that mind-muscle connection with her glutes, strengthening her glutes, protecting her lower back, and making her body feel so much better. And that's my goal for this video today, because so many people do the glute bridge wrong. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take you through a simple progression of 5 different movements, starting with movements that are very basic and focus more on muscle activation and reconnecting your mind to your glutes. As you follow along to this, you'll actually be getting a great glute bridge workout as you go through the progression. And each time we scale the movement up, it'll require a little bit more flexibility, a little bit more strength, and a little bit more coordination. So all you have to do right now is follow along. And if you stop at, say, level 2 or level 3, and we're on level 4 and 5, feel free to just practice that level as we go to the next levels up. It's really important to not go too far too fast and to build a strong foundation. After all, you can always come back to this video and do this glute bridge routine again. So let's get started with the level 1 movement. Okay. For the first level, we're gonna do a prone ceiling stomp, meaning that we're lying on our belly and we're gonna lift our heels toward the sky. And there's 2 ways to do this. The first way is starting one leg at a time, so you can really focus on maximizing your mind-muscle connection with your glutes on the right side and the left side. And then once you get that down, you can do both legs at a time. So let me show you how it works and then follow along for 1 minute to really activate those glutes. So you're gonna lie down on your belly, and it's okay to do this on a couch or in your bed, by the way. It's really comfortable and it makes it a little bit easier for some people. You're gonna curl one heel towards the sky like this, and all you're gonna do is lift that knee off the ground about 1 inch. It's such a tiny amount, so don't worry about lifting that heel towards the sky a ton. You don't wanna overfire your lower back. What you wanna feel is your glute muscle firing as you begin to lift that knee off the ground, okay? If you can feel this glute muscle firing, and this feels pretty easy for you, then you can switch sides, and you can feel that glute muscle firing as well. And then the more advanced way to do it is to curl both heels up, and then lift both knees off the ground just a little bit. Again, not focusing on arching your lower back like this, but rather keeping your pelvis pushed into the ground, squeezing those glutes, and lifting the knees off the ground just a little bit, okay? So now let's follow along for 1 minute as you do this move. I'll start out with a single leg variation, and then I'll switch to the double leg. So start by driving that one heel towards the ceiling. If you need to rest, you can always rest and come down and then go back up like this, okay? If you're doing the single leg variation, you can switch at 30 seconds. And I'm gonna switch at 15 seconds here. So I'm gonna drop that leg, I'm gonna switch to the other one, and I'm really focusing on, can I maintain a mind-muscle connection with my glutes? Am I firing my glutes, or am I overfiring my spinal erectors or my hamstrings? If you're overfiring your spinal erectors, put your head down, try to relax your upper body, and really focus on extending the hips, like pushing the hips into the ground. Now, if you're doing the both leg variation, try to lift both up towards the ceiling. If you start to feel your glutes start to burn, you can always come down and rest for a second and then go back to doing the movement, okay? But again, we're not trying to lift the heels super high and overarch our lower back. We're just trying to take some shallow breaths as we squeeze those glutes maximally in this position, okay? We're gonna hold for about 10 more seconds, and then if you feel comfortable, we can go to the next variation of the glute bridge, okay? Let's go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo! Now your glutes should be awake, you should feel them burning a little bit, and let's remember to have that same feeling as you do each one of these glute bridge variations. So now, let's move up to level 2 if that felt comfortable. You're gonna roll over on your back like this. We're gonna focus on good form. Remember in the beginning of this video I said people are doing with bad form? So the form I was talking about was this. They go hands down, and they go shoulders up, and then they push their toes down to the ground, and then they overextend their back like this. So we're gonna remedy that by doing the following. Palms toward the sky, fingertips away from your ears towards your heels. Then we're gonna lift our toes towards our nose like this. And then before we go on to an actual glute bridge, this level 2 is called a glute bridge squeeze, okay? So all you're gonna do is this. You're gonna imagine trying to take your tailbone and point it towards the ceiling while squeezing your glutes, feeling the same feeling that we just did when we were in that prone glute activation position. So it looks like this. I'm gonna drive my hips up and forward like this and just squeeze my glutes. Hold for a second, come back down, and repeat, doing tiny lifts focusing on my glutes. So we're gonna do this for a minute, starting right now, all right? So we're gonna inhale as we come up, squeeze those glutes for a second, palms toward the sky, fingertips away from the ears, head and neck are relaxed, and then let it come down slowly. Keep those toes lifted towards the nose too, okay, the whole time. Squeeze those glutes as we inhale, hold for a few seconds, try to recreate that same feeling of your glutes firing in that prone position, and then come back down slowly. See, the goal is to really make sure we're feeling those glutes working instead of overworking our back and our hamstrings, okay? And then come down slowly, all right? Inhale as we come up, fingertips away from ears, palms toward the sky, relax the neck, relax the shoulders, happy faces too, and then just try to relax, okay? And then come back up, squeeze, hold for a few seconds, come back down. We got 15 seconds left on this level 2 movement. And then if this felt comfortable for you, everything feels good, your glutes are activating the right way, then you can move on to level 3. If not, you can repeat this movement for the next movements that I'm gonna be going through for those minutes, okay? And rest, okay? Fantastic job on level 2. Now for the next level, we're gonna go into a full glute bridge. And why I'm showing you these levels is because the way that we like to teach people how to train at Reshape isn't about how much you can do. It's not about doing more time on the cardio machines or more repetitions or strength or something like that on the weights or the other machines. It's about sophisticating the movement, making it more challenging on your strength, flexibility, balance, and coordination so that you build more movement capacity, which is the way that we love to teach people. So this is what a movement progression is, and we're going through that right now. So for level 3, we're gonna do a full glute bridge lift, but we're not gonna overextend the back. So same thing, palms toward the sky, fingertips away from the ears, toes to nose. We're gonna lift the hips all the way up, starting with the glute bridge squeeze. So you can see, I don't wanna lift my chest with my butt down like this. I wanna do the glute bridge squeeze, and then I wanna drive my hips forward into this position, and then come back down. All right, so let's get started on this level 3 right now. We're gonna squeeze the glutes, tuck the hips under, and then come back down, slowly. A good way to think about this too is I squeeze the glutes, that's getting my lower back off the ground, and then I'm slowly rolling up my spine until my hips are in full extension. What we wanna avoid is this, bringing our neck and our chest and our lower back into too much extension, right? And we definitely don't want the butt to stay down as we lift up like this or to put the weight on the toes, okay? So again, press into the heels, squeeze the glutes, let the glutes and the pelvis lead you into that top position, squeeze them for a second, come back down. All right, you should be feeling your glutes working. They should be burning right now already. When we're just on minute 3, we got 2 more minutes left. So we're gonna make these last couple movements even more challenging, all right? Slowly coming down 1 vertebrae at a time, really focusing on tailbone, middle back, all the way to the upper back, but not overextending the back. Palms stay towards the sky, fingertips away from the ears, toes to nose. Keep those cues going the entire time, okay? Squeeze the glutes, come back down. 1 more repetition, all the way up, squeeze it, and rest. Now, while we're resting, what you guys can do is this. You can just kind of rock your hips from side to side. It's a great way to get a little bit of internal and external mobility in here. If you also want to stretch your glutes, one of my favorite easy ways to stretch the glutes, cross the ankle over the knee, drop the foot to the outside, and if you need to, you can pull your leg down like this. You're gonna feel stretch on the outside of the hip and inside the hip external rotators, which are really tight muscles on most people, okay? So you can do that in between. For level 4, we're gonna do the same thing, but we're gonna do a glute bridge hold. So we're gonna try to hold this for a minute. So now we're making it harder and harder and harder, and your glutes should be burning more and more each time we do it. So palms toward the sky. Everything is exactly the same as before. Let's just go ahead and get started with the minute right now. Squeeze the glutes, finish the hips, and hold this position. Now, in this position, what we wanna focus on is, are we focusing on driving the heels down into the ground and extending the hips via the glute squeeze? Some things you might find yourself doing are this. You might be pushing your heels forward like this. And if you're pushing your heels forward, then what you're doing is you're trying to get the quads to take over for the glutes. And we don't want to do that. We want to make sure that the quads are doing work, but they're not doing a lot of work. So instead of pushing your feet forward, try to imagine your feet are staying right in the middle like this. A really great challenge for you if you want to try it is if you have hardwood floors or tile, put your feet on top of a towel and see if you can maintain this glute bridge position without letting your feet slide forward and backward. That's gonna really make sure that your quads, your hamstrings, and your glutes are all perfectly balanced, okay? Now keep holding this position. Remember to relax your neck, relax your face, try to relax your shoulders. If you have to, you can come down and tap, rest for a second, maybe do a couple hip swings, and then come back up, all right? We're almost there. We're gonna do 10 more seconds, holding the hips high, squeezing the glutes. Feel the burn, that's okay, as long as your lower back and everything else feels good. You should really feel this in your glutes as the main mover. And come on down slowly. Okay, shift from side to side. If you need to, again, cross the ankle over the knee, come down, stretch the glutes on one side. We got one more round of 1 minute. This one's gonna be the most challenging one, and it's gonna be fun. So if you feel good on the last one, you can give it a shot. Cross the ankle over the knee. Let's do the other side real quick. You can pull the knee towards you. Ooh, get that glute stretch while we're doing a quick little rest period. Bring it on up. And now what we can do is come back into our position. This time I want you to bring your feet a little bit closer together, all right? So they can be almost touching or touching. That's totally fine. Palms toward the sky, fingertips away from the ears, toes to nose. And we're gonna start with the tailbone, come to that glute extension, right? Now here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna shift the weight to one leg. And we're gonna see if we can hold that position for 10 seconds. Hold, don't let the hips fall down like this. Keep holding, keep holding, keep holding. And then slowly come down with that leg and then lift the other leg and hold this position for 10 seconds. Okay, again, don't let the hips come down like this or wobble too much. Everything stays the same as it was before. Bring that leg down, keep those palms toward the sky, extend the other leg, hold for 10 seconds. Make sure to breathe. We're breathing shallow as we hold this. We're keeping our glutes tight, our core tight. Bring that leg down. Other side, you're halfway done with this last round, okay? Press the heel into the ground, squeeze the glutes. Don't rely on the lower back, all right? Don't rely on the quads too much. And bring it down. One more time around on each side. 10 seconds on this side. Hold as we breathe in and out shallow. Drive the heel into the ground, squeeze the glutes, relax the neck muscles, come down. Switch. Hold, 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 hold. 5, 4, hold it to the end. 3, 2, 1. Bring your feet together. Come down slowly, one vertebrae at a time. Ooh, yeah. That should get your glutes really hot and on fire. And so this is a really simple example of a movement progression that takes you from safe things like being able to activate your glutes properly and then being able to use those in a position like the glute bridge while making sure you're doing that movement properly, and then slowly escalating the complexity of the movement, requiring more strength, flexibility, balance, and coordination, which ultimately is gonna make your body feel so much better. So you can either come back to this workout and try these glute bridge variations again and again to strengthen your glutes and really strengthen your whole body. Or if you want a more comprehensive approach where we'll do all the thinking for you, picking the right variation of each movement to make your body feel amazing again, well, that's exactly what we do at WeShape. If you want to learn more, all you got to do is click the link below.